Did you know that 95% of buying decisions are actually subconscious? Yes, you heard that correctly. We've all heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but we absolutely judge a book by its cover. It's insane that there is so many billions of dollars that go into designing things like this. Packaged goods are some of the best examples when you're thinking about how do I actually use branding to influence people to buy my products, my services, my offers. There is no better industry to study than packaged goods. So this is Monster right here. I'm a big fan. I don't know if you are. I enjoy Monster. Monster is basically selling you a stimulant. It's like, do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel awake? Drink Monster. But Monster's direct competitor is called Red Bull. And I don't know about you, I'm not really a big fan of Red Bull's packaging, and I'm 100% not a fan. If you've ever poured Red Bull into a cup, it's like this heinous, almost yellowy, a little bit green color. It looks like kerosene. It looks like fuel that you put into your car. This was the craziest thing I realized. I'm over here drinking this Monster Ultra Peachy Keen, which sounds really cute, and it's got this like Charleston beautiful salmon pink vibe. Guess what color it was? It was also yellowy, kind of kerosene looking. But because it was called Ultra Peachy Keen, I believed that this was going to be the color that was on the inside, and I didn't bother to look at it because I never poured it out. So you have a company called Monster, and its direct competitor is Red Bull, except for Red Bull, against all predictive measures, was immensely successful, despite the taste, despite the smell. And I'm here to say, I drank a Red Bull a couple days ago. Sugar-free Red Bull, went to a comedy club and drank it because of the stimulant it provides. It does not taste good. I don't know one person on the planet who actually likes the taste of Red Bull. But why does it taste good with vodka? I have no idea. How did they do that? So I don't know if it's like nasty on nasty created a sensation, or if it's a stimulant intersects with a depressant and somehow those two things were magic. But I bet you this, I bet you Monster wishes it had a Red Bull and vodka drink that people all over the world order. So that's an example of Monster competing with somebody directly in their realm, which might be also Mountain Dew. It might be Bang energy drinks. The minute I said Bang energy drinks, I bet you saw their label in your mind. Their branding is so on point. I literally have drank their drinks just because I like their branding, but I still like Monster more actually in terms of taste. Then you have Celsius. Celsius has a beautiful brand associated with it. I just don't like their flavors. I feel like it's like a light version of Monster, and if I'm gonna do a Monster, I'm gonna go all the way in. And if I really think that I'm out to die and there's no coming back, I'm gonna do a 5-hour energy, and I have no idea what comes out of that little bottle. I don't even know what it is. It tells me I'm going on like a watermelon paradise trip, and it delivers. It delivers. That is what I go to when I absolutely need something that's gonna work. So these people are all competing against each other in the stimulants category as direct competitors. You pull up at your gas station, you roll in, and you're gonna see this amongst many other things that are similar. But then you have coffee that's right next to there. Then you have a whole slew of your Starbucks, your Dunkin' Donuts, and Cologne, and all of these other brands of coffee stimulants that are gonna be right next to it. And they're gonna have milk, not have milk, cold brew, not be cold brew, the ones that are super sweet because Dunkin' Donuts has decided they should put 30 grams of sugar in your drink. I don't know why, I can't drink that anymore. Those are gonna be right next to this. And then on the other side, you're gonna have all of your Coca-Cola, Pepsi products. You're gonna have all the Coke. And so the people who are like, I cannot drink this because this is heinous, it makes me anxious, it has too much energy in it, they're gonna go over to the Coke side. Oh, it's amazing how product packaging influences your decisions through the subconscious mind. It also invites you in to try their product and start to gain a relationship with it. I don't know if you've noticed in this video, take a guess, write in the comments, how many times have I picked up this cup? How many times have I picked up this can? Like literally, I just keep picking it up because I clearly like this product a lot. And it's amazing that when you do have something that is a physical product, you can actually touch it and taste it and feel it. Having all of that a part of your senses so you can make a buying decision, consume literally the product you buy, it brings you closer to the brand. So if you're a different type of business, like a lot of the business we help are digital businesses. They're in the online space. So I have a company, if you don't know me, by the way, my name is Bijal Patel. I worked with Fortune 500 companies for 13 years, designing incredible, awarding, winning spaces for them. And I took all of that knowledge and brought it into the online space. And that was to help both online businesses who are just strictly online, like coaches, consultants, service providers, experts, agencies, but also small business owners who could benefit from actually having a strong brand, like chiropractors, roofers, plastic surgeons, martial arts studios, and people of that nature. So when you're looking at those type of businesses, you realize that brand is going to be essential to getting people to want to buy your products. But when you realize that 95% of it is in people's mind, you can play the game in a way that people don't expect. And what I mean by that is your direct and indirect competitors. You can outwit them by using the power of branding. So a lot of people get caught up in branding of like, what are the brand psychology colors? What does that actually mean? I'm gonna tell you this right here, right now. They don't mean much. The part that's actually important is not whether blue means trust or green means money. What's more important is, does your color palette overall convey the type of brand that you are? So you can see right here, I'm wearing quite a colorful blouse in this. You're getting a sense from me, hey, she likes color. She's a woman who feels confident in wearing things that are vibrant and have patterns and are floral. And then you're kind of making sense of my personality and the way I come across to match up with the version of me that you're seeing here. And so we tend to wear our clothes and our fashion choices, what we decorate in our houses, what we pick as a car, all of those things end up creating a compound perception of how you would like to be viewed in the world. Did you know that white is the most popular color for a car? White. I'm like, could there be anything more boring than a white car? I don't think I'll ever have a white car. I said don't think because I don't like to talk in black and whites for real. I don't think I'll ever have a white car in my entire life. I just think it's so boring. But that is the most common color. People like it because they feel like it looks really clean. They feel like it's a really clean, simple, and it highlights the car. Okay, that's awesome. Well, somebody like me is going to pick, like right now, I've got a blue car. My husband has a red car. I've had a black car in the past. I am actually looking at wraps for my car because I want to do some kind of customized wrap for my future Porsche. I want it to be balling out in a customized wrap that no one else can have. And I love looking at some of the other things, like when I see matte black wraps and things like that, I think it's really interesting. But I'm also coming at the equation with a commercial interior design background. So I feel really, really confident in my choices within my custom home. I've got this amazing wallpaper. You can check it out. People think it's a painting. It's not a painting. I got a customized wallpaper on in large scale. So when you enter into my home, you are getting all of the reinforcement in your mind that, hey, this is a woman who loves bold choices. She likes pattern, she likes in large scale, and she enjoys color, but somehow she knows how to use it carefully and make it all flow together. A lot of times people, this may even be you, are afraid of using color and prefer to stick to things that are more neutral or safe, like black, white, navies, golds, because you're afraid that you're gonna accidentally date your brand. And that's a good feeling to have. If you know you're not good at something, I am all on board for you not to come up with it on your own. I can't tell you the hundreds of brands that we've had to fix because somebody accidentally either listened to somebody on their team, they just made their best guess. They knew they weren't the best designer at picking this stuff, but they didn't have a choice, and it's where their business was started. But what you to understand is that When your business is growing, when you're actually building and growing and scaling, and you're past that 20K revenue month marker, you want to get to the point where you're actually revamping your brand because you want to look like you have grown into the next version of what your business is going to be. So I see a lot of times businesses are stuck in an old version of who they used to be visually, but they're wanting people to buy who they have become after 5 or 10 years of experience delivering an amazing product to clients with all of these 5-star ratings, all of these amazing Google reviews and video testimonials, but the brand looks like it did from like when you were 3 months into the business. So that creates incongruence amongst your brand, and then people have a hard time because even though they see that you've been in business 10 years and you have like all these amazing 5-star reviews, they cannot get past the fact that your brand looks like a newbie. What people, when they realize they're scaling up their business and their brand, they start to think about how can you use brand strategy in your benefit? How can you flip this game and use that subconscious to benefit you? First of all, you want to make sure that your brand is up to date. If you are living the dream for 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, it's just like how your home or your clothes start to look a bit outdated. Everyone has that one t-shirt that you know it, that you need to get rid of. That's what's happening with your brand. If your shoes are worn out, if your t-shirt is worn out and you're wearing that, you're setting a certain impression of what people can expect with your products and your services. The same is true about your brand. So if you look incoherent, if you look worn out, if everything looks old and dated, they're gonna subconsciously believe that the experience they're gonna get with you is also gonna feel like that. So how can you charge the prices that you deserve to charge? How can you actually command the investment that you're looking to command, which is thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars based on what our clients who are charging high ticket command, or if you're a monthly recurring revenue type of space, are you at the top of your service area when it comes to being a chiropractor or a martial arts studio or a plastic surgeon? Any business model, type it in. Say to yourself, are you charging within the top 90% of your local area? And do you have a waiting list outside of the door? If you don't, take a look at your brand and audit. When's the last time I've got my logo done? If it's been more than 3 years, give yourself an X. When's the last time that I have audited all my different social media platforms, my websites and funnels to make sure that they all look similar, like they're coordinated, they're congruent together? If it doesn't look that way, give yourself another X. When's the last time I've updated my tagline, or do I even have a tagline associated to my business? Give yourself another X. Are you using the same fonts across your social media with any of the Canva stuff that you're putting out there, your graphic design compared to what is on your website? If it all looks like it's mismatched, give yourself another X. And lastly, if when you're reading what you're seeing across all of these platforms, if it doesn't sound like the same person, or if they're years apart in terms of messaging, you've got on one website, on one social media, on LinkedIn, it looks like this, a bunch of blues. And then you go over to YouTube and it's a bunch of reds. And then you go over to Instagram and you were in your purple era. And you've got pictures from a couple years ago, and then you've changed and you look like they're totally outdated. Those are not going to be relevant. So look at those 5 things to give yourself just a preliminary self-audit. That is how people are computing what your brand is, and they're not even consciously thinking about it. So subconscious brands, let me give you an example of what is a subconscious purchase that you and me do all the time. Imagine walking into Target or Walmart or Walgreens, you're in there, you got to buy toilet paper for the house. If you're like most civilized humans, you're gonna pick Charmin, okay? You're gonna pick Charmin. Let me tell you why. Charmin has convinced me that they are the best for my booty and my kid's booty, okay? They're the softest out there. So they're either the strongest or they're the softest, and there's a blue and there's a red. Blue is for soft, it feels like a dreamy pillow, and red is for strength. And you're gonna buy one of those rolls, and by the way, it's a double roll. And I can already see it in my mind. You are allegiant to this brand because you have this thing called brand affinity. My relationship to Charmin is so tight that I feel like it's the only brand I can look at. I don't even look at the price tag. That is how subconsciously I'm programmed in. Second example, we're at the drugstore again, okay? We're at Walgreens. You are out of Q-tips. By the way, did you know a Q-tip is actually called a cotton swab? Didn't remember that. Didn't remember that. So CVS or Walgreens, they sell their own version, off-brand version of a Q-tip. They call it a cotton swab. I don't know if you're like me and you've ever given it a try. I've given it a try, mostly because my husband has bought it because he probably had a coupon. Okay, I knew not to. You try it and you realize they have less cotton. The thing falls off the edge and then you're poking your ear with a flimsy stick. You know it's not the same. So then what do? You throw them away or you move them to his side of the bathroom and then you go buy your Q-tips. You do what I do. Any sane person goes to Amazon and primes them for their next day and gets a normal Q-tip. And then you're happy again because you can rely on a Q-tip. So by the time you have a brand that has taken over an entire category like Q-tip or like Kleenex, that is when you have subconsciously programmed an entire market like Coke. How many times have you gone somewhere and been like, can I get a Coke? They're like, oh, we have Pepsi. And you're like, ooh. I mean, I guess there's like 3 people who drink Pepsi. I don't even know who they are, but like, who asks for a Pepsi? Nobody. No sane person has ever gone anywhere and said, can I have a Pepsi? Nobody. Even Pepsi knows that. Pepsi doesn't even put it as a part of their advertising because they understand it is okay to be number 2 in terms of their top beverage, okay? Pepsi versus Coke, Coke wins. Now, as a company did you know that Pepsi, compared to Coca-Cola as a company, Pepsi is way more successful revenue-wise. And the reason for this is, first of all, shout out to Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. I got a skater boy somewhere within me, okay? I'm a mom, but I still love Mountain Dew, okay? I just haven't drank it in a while. I'm on this sugar-free thing. Back to Monster. Pepsi has won the revenue game and the business game because they bought Frito-Lay. Pepsi decided, you know what tastes amazing with a Mountain Dew? Sour cream and onion Lays. And so they put it together for you. They said, we need Fritos. They understood that the food, the snack bags with the caffeinated sodas was gonna be a great pairing. I don't know what happened to Coke. Coke, what happened? You had a cool polar bear. I love you during Christmas, okay? Like, we love that. I love cherry Coke. Cherry Pepsi is not the same. But Coke sort of missed its calling on that, having an amazing food brand underneath. The other thing that's interesting about these is that Pepsi did a really good job of making sure their fountained products were in franchises. So Pizza Hut has Pepsi. Taco Bell has Pepsi. And I'm pretty sure Pepsi probably owns those too. I don't, gotta fact check me on that. Pretty sure Pepsi either owns Taco Bell or they obviously have some type of relationship together. So these other companies, whereas when you go to McDonald's, McDonald's always has Coke. So the companies that understood that if they took their beverage products and put them into fast food chains who had thousands of locations all over the world, how much more product were they gonna sell? It's amazing because they don't sell as many cans to you and me as we think. Pepsi and Coke makes most of their money from their fountained beverages. So when you think about this, if you go to Taco Bell, like I used to, I'm on a meal plan now. Hope you've noticed. If you know me, you've noticed. If you go to Taco Bell has Pepsi products. I have been so accustomed to thinking about getting my Mexican pizza, which they brought back. Thank you, Taco Bell. Love you for that. Mexican pizza with the Mountain Dew, that those flavors go together for me. Just like if you're used to going to McDonald's, if you are used to getting a double cheeseburger or a Big Mac, you can taste the Coke with it. That's how crazy it is. So after a while, your brain, your conscious part of your brain, which is 5 to 10% of your brain, is your frontal lobe that thinks about the buying decisions you make. You are consciously making effort to say, hey, I'm gonna try this thing. Hey, I'm gonna give this a shot. After a while, all extra information gets fed over to your subconscious brain because the brain is a muscle that requires a lot of food and fuel and energy to survive. And your brain's entire job is to become efficient. Because it needs to become efficient, you cannot remember every speck of information that is in your visual vortex or that you see. That's why a lot of times you don't even remember driving home the same day. Or you don't remember what clothes you wore yesterday. And you can't remember if you actually told your husband that thing on the phone or not, but you kind of believe you did anyway. Okay? Your brain is meant to become efficient. So it takes things in its conscious mind and moves it back to the subconscious mind. That, my friends, is why people start to make subconscious decisions on what they buy. And in order for them to make a subconscious decision on what they buy, they need to take a couple steps back and be watching your content, opting in for your offers, buying something, watching maybe a free training that you're giving away, sending you their email so they can feel like they're starting to get to know your company. That's the first part of KLT, which is know, like, and trust. Principles of marketing. And branding is the T. Branding is the trust. It's the long-term driver to whether or not your business is going to get more business? Is it going to get more referrals? And are you going to have more word of mouth spread by that ability? So I gave you some really big examples that were out in the world because that would help you see through tangible examples of what any everyday person has maybe experienced. Okay, so what? You don't like Taco Bell? You probably have tried McDonald's. Maybe you don't like either and you're a health nut. Put in a different example. But what we do specifically with our clients is we've helped one of our chiropractor clients, Dr. Christine Zapata, take her knowledge, create a personal brand so she can have a coaching business that is off the chain. She then developed a book. After the book, we taught her how to promote the book, market it, and right now, she just texted me the other day, she is booked out for speaking engagements for into the next year based on how well this book did. So we take online businesses and we actually help them by using where do they shine with their brand strategy, and then we tie it into something that is a product. And you notice, if I mentioned Christine Zapata, she actually has a service business. She's a coach now. She has a chiropractic office outside of Seattle, and then she started her own coaching business, and then that just took off for her. And then she was able to put associate doctors into place in her office so she can continue to doing what her heart really is telling her and what her soul was meant to do, which is to train other chiropractors and other small service-based businesses who have brick and mortars to excel. So other chiropractors, other hair salons, people who have small service-based brick and mortars. Absolutely enjoying her life. She's getting to speak. She's an international speaker now, and she's being paid. It's absolutely amazing. We did the same thing with Taylor Welch. If you followed any of his stuff, he's an amazing suite. His entire portfolio of brands, and we helped him with the Wealthy Consultant. We designed everything related to all of the versions of the logo that we came up with, but we also helped him consolidate this really big problem he had, which was as an influencer with a major platform with hundreds of thousands of followers, and he's been in the game for a really long time. How do we differentiate his personal tone of voice, Taylor, from the rest of the Wealthy Consultant? And the Wealthy Consultant has multiple pieces underneath it. They've got their chamber, which is a high-end mastermind program for businesses to grow and scale and refine their offers. And then they have another program called Launch Kit. And that is meant for more entry startup level businesses to more gain a footing of who is your exact offer for, what's the audience, how should you price it, and how can you even get started. So they have multiple sub-brands underneath the Wealthy Consultant, but his biggest issue was from his last companies, from Traffic and Funnels and some of the other portfolio he had, he was never able to fully get himself, his name, his face, his likeness out of the brand, which made it impossible for them to sell the business. He literally had to walk away from a $70 million portfolio of companies because his face got nixed every time the buyers came and they were assessing what is the multiple on this business. If it had his face on it, if it had his name on it, it got X'd out and literally points were reduced from what your multiple is. So are you going to sell your business tomorrow? No. But should you be building your business with the plan to exit? Absolutely. What small business owner doesn't want to have that as a clutch in your back pocket to say, if I were to ever exit this business, my multiple would be good and I would actually be paid in the investment I deserve? Well, that starts with building a brand where your face is not equivalent to the entire brand. Now, let me caveat by saying that is an application of what do you do to help people? What are they buying into now? What is the subconscious decision? They're still using his personal brand and his name and his social media and the likeness of, oh, I like him, I follow him, I feel like I know him from his social media posts. But we actually separated the business brand out. So when you look at the business brand, you are aware that you're buying two products called Chamber or you're buying Launch Cake. And that's the difference. So one can influence the other. You can take a personal brand and use it as a catalyst, but it's not the entire business overall. That's what influences the subconscious decisions on how do you actually sell and use branding to influence buying decisions for people who are in information marketing spaces. So wrap this all up for you in a bow. Here's my favorite thing. Tell me how many times I've touched it. If you want an audit of your brand, give you some examples of people we've worked with, but more importantly, I would love to hear, did you learn something from this? My heart and soul is into taking small business owners like yourself and helping you turn it into an amazing brand. That's why I left corporate America, left all the Fortune 500s behind, because I do not enjoy anything more than helping small business owners step into their sole purpose, extract out their mission, and package it up so you can deliver what you were uniquely gifted to do in the world. All right, if you love this, hit subscribe. I'm gonna be teaching more about this, and leave me what your takeaway was from this video. If you are interested in getting that brand audit from me and my team so we can take a look, pop open the hood to your business and give you free value, there is a link in the description and you can go ahead and claim your brand audit. I will see you on the other side.